All right, this kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. Here's the brake cable coming up. This is the old one. So I'm going to clean this guy up and reinstall it. Here's the old hanger, and then these are the U-brakes. But before we do all that, yeah, look at this plate. This cable guide plate is chromed, screwed in. Very, very cool. They don't make them like they used to. You know, when you get underneath into the nether regions, you can do a lot of cleaning. Wiping of the nether regions. And I can feel, and you can hear, there's a little bit of wobbliness to this bottom bracket. So it kind of makes me want to take it all apart. So let's just go ahead and do that. Makes for good content anyway. You know, this is, if you're watching this video, I'm hoping that it's one of my early videos. You know, one of the first 20 or so bikes. And you got to start somewhere. And I don't know what's going to work for this channel and what's not. I'm doing some research and trying to figure out what's going to work. I really want this to be successful. I want it to make money. I want it to be a thing. So I need your feedback to do so. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, share, engage. I am all wound up over here. But yeah, I just really need to know from my viewers what works and what doesn't, because if I don't hear from you, then I'm guessing. I've been getting good feedback. I mean, I've been getting good comments. I really like the comments where it's, I enjoyed the video, but you did this wrong. Not really. I would have done it this way. All of that helps me too. Makes me a better mechanic. Other people are going to read those comments, maybe learn something. Hopefully something very controversial is said and there'll be a discussion. We don't have to argue. But I kind of like arguing. I like having opinions. I like expressing my opinions. I'm as cynical as the next guy. All right, so we got that side off, which isn't as important, but I'm gonna really open this bottom bracket up. And it helps if I'm doing this left-handed. Now I'm doing it right-handed. I like these crank pullers that don't have the handles on them. And you can just use a 15mm box wrench. Ooh, that one came off very easily. This tool might be as old as me. This is pretty new. Typical hose-in lock ring wrench. All right. So lock ring wrench. These always slip. Get the lock ring off, and then hopefully, oh, no, wrong size. Is it 32? It's probably 30. I think, well, it's good enough. It's 32. Come on, come on. There we go. Let's see what these bearings look like. Need a little cleaning. So there's the spindle. And then on this side, this is the fixed cup, they call it. And it was in there tight enough, but not really tight. This is a Tonge bottom bracket. It's a nice one. Very durable. Made to be overhauled. And I suppose, I mean, 1987 is 36 years ago. So it's time. Time for an overhaul. So here's the, where am I? Right? Kind of get some degreaser in there and pull these bearings out, set them aside for now. So this rag has a bunch of degreaser on it. And I can just cram it in there and shine things up. Do the same with the adjustable cup. This rag is pretty dry yet. Kind of give it a dry run. Clean off the spindle a little bit, kind of look at it. Nothing's too pitted, nothing's really worn out here. Get into it before it's worn out. Maintenance is good. Clean out the threads a bit. They look pretty clean. I know you guys can't really see it. But... Okay. So now that everything's clean, you can throw in some new grease. Get it nice and thick. Same deal. Grease the threads a bit. There's grease everywhere. Just cake it on there. Why not? Actually, if there is a why not, let me know. But fixed cups goes in first. And you want it gluten tight, which is kind of hard to do because things are in the way. All right, I'm gonna see if I can't. Whew. I got cameras and stuff in the way here. Let's hold the wrench and give her a couple of raps with a hammer. All right. Finally getting around to cleaning the grease off of that brake from when we installed the cable a minute ago. Looks like a good time to get around this bridge. Do some flossing behind the brake. You know, with the crank off, you can really see everything. Everything's really shiny now. All right, folks. So I go find the writing on here. It says 3T. You want to be able to read it from, you know, when you're looking at the top of the bike down. It doesn't want to be upside down. Right side up. So this is your adjustable cup. get things adjusted just exactly perfect here. I think if I get around to the other side of the bike here, you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, this is definitely 30 millimeter. I should go grab the other wrench, but doing all right. Okay, so this feels really crunchy. It's because it's too tight. So back it off just a smidge. It still feels kind of crunchy, but I mean, the one thing we could do is put in a modern cartridge bottom bracket. That's the best way, probably. But I kind of like these old three pieces. So we're gonna keep it. Back in the day, you know, it's like new bearings and new spindle, new cups. You know, you'd replace all that stuff. But I mean, by the time you get done messing around with that, just put in a cartridge one. But this is good enough. Okay, it's a little loose. We'll go grab that other wrench. .30 millimeter. On the floor. Tighten it just a little bit. Wrong tools in my hands. Then you can hold the adjustable cup, grab your lock ring, and give it a good snug. That's not the right crank arm. This is the right crank arm. Make sure nothing's pinching here. Everything feels pretty good. Get some grease on these threads. How are we doing there? Still in frame? Yeah. Sometimes the bikes drift a little bit on the stand. That freewheel sounds terrible back there. Okay. These are metal Sakai crank dust caps, which are also gorgeous. Yes, that is gorgeous. going to clean this guy up a little bit. We're going to... So it looks like our cable wants to go through here. I'm going to take a wild guess here at where it wants to live. That's probably a pretty good guess. And then put 10 millimeter on the back. Grab that 10 millimeter there. Anchor it down. Okay. Then you get your straddle cable in there. I'm gonna make sure that cable's good all the way to the lever before this is all way easier when I can adjust the bike around in other positions. But okay, so you can see it's just a little tight, so I'm gonna let a little cable out. Maybe if I come over on this side, it's easier to work on, I believe. It's true. Okay. So I just let a little bit of cable out. And I can get my straddle cable in there. All right. And then this guy, kind of bend around that way. This is all looking pretty decent. I'm gonna reach down, grab my lever. Okay, feels a little loose. I guess that adjustment was pretty easy, so I'm gonna do it again here. Just use these two wrenches. Loosen it. Gonna move this down a smidge. How about that much? Did I go too much? Or is it just enough? Looks like it's too much. I didn't tighten that. I didn't anchor it really super tight. Ooh, ooh. Now I'm just gonna, ooh, that feels really good. I'm gonna leave it for now. We have the barrel adjuster yet. Generally with the brakes, I like to leave the brake barrel adjusters all the way in. So as pads wear out and cables stretch, you can turn them out. But that feels really good. The tension is good. I can see, I'm looking, the pads are hitting really good. Yeah. I'm gonna put a cable tip on that. Here, let's trim it nice and tight. And then put a tip on it. Very skinny little shifter tip. Hopefully it stays there the rest of its life. Okay, folks, it's only been a split second for you, but it's been days for me since I've had this bike in the stand. A lot more clutter in the background. It's been busy around the shop, and it's a good thing. Good problems to have, I suppose. But found time to finish this one up. So we're gonna do these front brakes. I can feel we need a little bit of lube in there, so what I like to do, I like to adjust my camera angle here, kind of angle the bike down a bit, and then gravity's on your side. I just squirt some lube. I think light lube works fine. You can take them off, clean them, grease them. That works pretty good too. But usually some one step or some tri-flow or something. And you kind of jiggle them around. Get everything moving freely. And I'm just going to reconnect because we've got a new front brake cable here. Reconnect things, and I'm going to move you back up. How are we doing here? Should we zoom in on it a little? There's the basic functionality. I suppose I don't really have a good rule of thumb for setting up cantilever brakes. We want to leave enough room in case you want to add fenders or reflector or anything like that. So I think I will bring this up just a little bit. That'll help us clear some fenders possibly, although those fenders are going to be way down here. Maybe that is a pretty good height. I think that's pretty good height. So I'm going to pull this cable to tighten it. The straddle cable's really long. We got a lot to work with here. I'm gonna, it's rusty. I could replace it, but it's not fraying or anything, so it's not critical. I think I'll leave it. See if I can find my 10mm wrench here. See what this looks like if I tighten up the straddle cable. Get that in the middle. Oh, something slipped. Oh, it's slipping up here. So I didn't tighten that down real well. All right, let's do that. Something's up. Oh yeah, I just kind of left that finger tight. That's what happens when you walk away from a bike for a couple of days. You forget about those things. I like to just finish the bikes. Making these videos takes me longer to do the bikes. I think I'm an extraordinarily efficient bicycle mechanic. I can tune up bikes real quickly and still do a pretty thorough job. I think a lot of bike mechanics out there are pretty pokey, frankly. You know who you are. Pokey in the name of being thorough. I'm not buying it. I think you can be fast and thorough if you know what you're doing. But I get it. I just kind of move at a different speed than other people. Fast isn't always better. All right, I gotta tighten this down real good. There we go. Now I'm gonna give it a good feel. So it's a little bit better, it's functioning. You want it to match the rear. Check the height. Down here, does everything look pretty symmetrical? Does anything look weird? Come at it from the front. You know, we're gonna have a tension issue. I like this wrench better. My arm's in the way. There we go. Whoa. There's a lot of tension on these brakes. Ugh. So they make a third hand tool that pinches the brakes while you adjust this stuff. Again, in the name of efficiency, I'm not going to go hunting for that tool I use 3 times a year. Instead, I'm just going to wrestle with it until I get it right. In the name of efficiency. Trial and error. Ooh, that feels pretty good. All right. So, this brake pad isn't lining up real well compared to the other one. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's not. So I'm going to angle that one up a smidge. And to do so, grab my 5mm Allen key. Whoa, stepped on the cat. Sorry, Greg. Oh, poor guy. Actually, I'm gonna grab a 6mm Allen key. That goes right in here. And then the 10 goes back here, and I loosen it a little bit. And then it gives me some adjustability. And when I get it where I want it, I kind of hold things in place, double check as I go, give it a good snoog. Okay. I'm looking at alignment of things here, and grab my hammer. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but I want to move this over a little. I have to stand over here. That's too much. Something looks out of alignment on this bike. Bent fork? How could it be? Well, I don't know. There's something weird going on with the front of this bike, I think. That's a hell of a thing to figure out right now. Is it just the stem is out of whack? It's hard, I can't show you what I'm seeing. But what I'm seeing is things aren't just exactly perfect. The stem is not an easy one to adjust. All right, I'm not gonna worry about it too much right this second. Might be a 3-parter if this is bent. Maybe it's just those, could just be the brake calipers. We'll have to ride this bike no-handed. That's the way I find out if forks are bent. It's kind of hard to eyeball. I mean, you can take the fork off the bike, put it in a jig, measure it, tweak it. This is what's nice about steel. You can cold set it with relative confidence. Okay, so that front brake feels pretty good, except for the fact that they're crooked. That's a good way to break a brake. But it's messing with me. Yeah, this is out of whack. we're gonna leave it. See what happens. I need a couple of bar end plugs here. Go grab those. Not too often that you get to use the little bar end plugs for these alloy handlebars. They have thicker walls. The tubes. All right. I guess we haven't really looked at the drivetrain on this bike too closely, but everything appears to be working pretty well. Old 3x6 mountain bike drivetrain. You can hear that freewheels sounding pretty rough. Okay, so we got a new cable. Yeah, it's a little loose, I think. I'm just making little tweaks to that barrel adjuster, tighter or looser to dial it in. Check the front here. Front's all analog, not indexed. Yeah, it's a really noisy drivetrain. You know, a new chain and freewheel would really freshen things up there. Not sure it completely needs it. Well, I think we find some water bottle screws, put a saddle on this thing. I don't know what else I'm gonna find, but we're getting pretty close. The other thing is I was messing around with this the other day. Let's get you in the middle of the... But I don't like this logo here. So I was messing around with this marker. I don't know if big black magic marker to get rid of the yellow here, you know, just to make it black, or if I want to find some paint or something, but you know, aesthetically it drives me kind of nuts, and it's not filling in real well. Probably should have cleaned it first, but anyway, I think I'm going to do that at some point. Finish that later. You don't need to watch that. So the saddle I picked here, it's a nice big wide one. It's going to be a real upright riding position. So I have these comfort saddles. A lot of my customers like them, and they work for many people. They're pretty comfortable for just tooling around. They're not cool. If this were my bike, I'd put a Brooks on it or something cool, you know. Brooks Flyer with some springs, Springer saddle of some sort. But I'm not sure this is going to be my bike. And this is a good place to start. So I'm going to kind of eyeball the angle here. Get the bike looking upright. I think that's pretty good. Oh, I just felt something give. I don't know if I just stripped that. I think I just stripped it. Shoot. Tightened it too much. Gotta be careful of that. These little guys up in here. There's a nice steel bolt, and this guy is very soft alloy, and I just stripped the crap out of it. I don't know. Can you see in there? Too strong. I suppose these things aren't completely universal, but I found this replacement guy here and seems like it'll fit in here pretty well. So it's good enough for who it's for. Round 2. This will help. So I stick a finger up in there and hold it in place. Try to get the thread started. And get a wrench on it. Oh, this doesn't seem to want to fit. Let's see what's going on. Ay, ay, ay. What? I'm falling apart here. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's just the threads on my bolt is a little marred up. So, you know, a machinist would probably advise against it, but if I grab this, just kind of chase the threads a little bit. Then, there you go. There it is. There we go. Making a bit of an educated guess on that saddle angle. Yeah, I can feel that already. It's really much better. There we go. So I'm lucky enough to have bins of 5mm bolts, and I won't show you how I pick through and try to find 4 matching ones out of that mess. It's easier said than done, but I'm going to do that off camera. So I didn't find 4 matching, but I found 2 and 2. So 2 long ones and 2 medium ones. So we'll just put them together and it'll be good enough. So they're all 4mm, which is probably all that really matters. But I put a little dab of grease on them. I'm going to put the shiny ones there. These are a little rustier. Over here grabbing some grease. A little dab will do ya. Actually, can even put a little tri-flow on those threads, make the whole situation a little cleaner. Being right-handed in this situation blocks your camera. Get an arm shot. These are nice long bottle screws. You can stack up your accessories. Put a big lock mount and a pump and water bottle cage. And what have you. Wow, this thing really is beautiful. You know, from a rusty bucket of bolts to this, we've come a long way, baby. That top tube really shined up. Somebody, probably me, is going to spend the rest of their life polishing this bike. What was I thinking? I just remembered something that it needs. And then it escaped my mind. Well, I suppose it'll come to me. How about that? Well, should we put it on the ground and give it a final check? Well, that saddle angle is off a little bit. I think it's pointing down a tad. So it's not too hard to make that change. Personally, I like them angled up slightly. Not a lot, but slightly. I'm going to leave it sitting back in the clamp too, just because I think this bike is going to want to be like that. Still haven't figured out what I forgot. I thought this thing needed. There we go. So, bounce the front to kind of make sure that that headset is tight and everything's solid. You know, we completely overhauled it. Tighten down my stem bolt. Tighten down these guys too. Everything's 6mm on this bike, you know. All-terrain bike, a mountain bike, they were like, oh, we're gonna be in the mountains doing all this crazy stuff. They like to rattle apart when you're flying down those fire roads. Check the axle nuts. Hey, I did a good job on this bike. There's really nothing more to do but ride it. This thing doesn't ride half bad.